Emily Carter had spent nearly a decade building Atlas Defense Technologies into one of the fastest-growing security companies in the country. Her schedule was packed with meetings, investor calls, and project reviews. Most employees admired her determination, but many also believed she rarely noticed anyone outside the executive offices. Every weekday, Emily arrived before sunrise. The building was usually quiet except for the soft sound of a mop moving across the marble floor. The janitor, Daniel Brooks, was always there before everyone else. He greeted each person with a simple smile and a respectful, "Good morning." Most employees walked past him without saying a word. Daniel never seemed bothered by it. He focused on his work, making sure every hallway, conference room, and office looked spotless before the first meeting of the day. If someone accidentally dropped papers or spilled coffee, he would quietly help without expecting thanks. One morning, Emily rushed toward an important presentation while carrying several folders and a laptop. As she entered the lobby, the folders slipped from her hands, scattering documents across the floor. Before anyone else reacted, Daniel calmly knelt down and gathered every page in perfect order. "I think these belong together," he said, handing the files back with a polite smile. "Thank you," Emily replied, surprised by how carefully he had arranged them. "It looked important." "It is? Then I'm glad nothing was lost." It was a brief conversation, but Emily noticed something unusual. Daniel spoke with confidence and composure, not the nervousness she often saw in people around senior executives. Over the next few weeks, she began noticing him more often. He treated the company's newest intern with the same respect he showed the board chairman. He listened carefully when people spoke and never interrupted. Even on stressful days, he remained calm. Emily admired people who stayed professional under pressure. Daniel seemed to possess that quality naturally. She didn't know anything about his past, his education, or his personal life. To her, he was simply a hard-working janitor with exceptional manners and quiet dignity. For the first time in years, Emily found herself wondering if true greatness could sometimes be hidden behind the simplest job title. Emily and Daniel's friendship grew naturally over the following months. It wasn't built on dramatic moments or grand gestures, but on small conversations that happened during ordinary days. Whenever Emily arrived early or stayed late at the office, she often found Daniel quietly finishing his work. One evening, she noticed him repairing a loose chair in the employee break room. "I thought maintenance handled those things," she said. "They do," Daniel replied with a smile. "But someone could get hurt before they arrive. It only takes a few minutes to fix." Emily appreciated his practical attitude. He never waited for someone else to solve a problem if he could do it himself. As they talked more often, she learned that Daniel preferred reading history and biographies instead of watching television. He also volunteered on weekends at a community center, helping teenagers develop discipline and confidence through fitness training. "You must have been a teacher once," Emily guessed. Daniel chuckled softly. "No, life just taught me a few lessons worth sharing." His answer left her curious, but she respected his privacy. Meanwhile, rumors about their growing friendship spread throughout the company. Some executives questioned why the CEO spent time talking with a janitor. A few even joked that Daniel was trying to gain favors. Emily ignored the gossip. She judged people by their actions, not by other people's opinions. One afternoon, she invited Daniel for coffee after work. They talked for nearly 2 hours about family, responsibility, and the importance of treating every person with dignity. Daniel never complained about his life or blamed others for his circumstances. Instead, he spoke about gratitude and making the best of every opportunity. For Emily, those conversations became the most peaceful part of her busy week. Months later, Daniel honestly admitted that he had developed feelings for her. Emily smiled before answering. "I was hoping you would say that." Their relationship surprised everyone around them. Friends warned Emily that marrying someone with an ordinary job could damage her public image. She listened respectfully but made her own decision. She believed character was a stronger foundation for marriage than wealth, status, or reputation. So when Daniel asked her to marry him, she accepted without hesitation. completely unaware that the quiet man beside her had once led dangerous missions as an elite special forces commander before choosing a life of humility and service. Married life was quieter than either Emily or Daniel had expected. They lived in a comfortable home, but nothing about their daily routine felt extravagant. Emily continued leading Atlas Defense Technologies, while Daniel insisted on keeping his job as the company's janitor. More than once, Emily suggested that he didn't need to work anymore. "You could stay home, travel, or start a business if you want," she said one evening. Daniel smiled. "Work gives me purpose. As long as I'm able to contribute honestly, I'm happy." Emily respected his decision, even if she didn't fully understand it. Not everyone shared her attitude. Some senior executives believed Daniel's presence embarrassed the company. They whispered behind his back, wondering why the CEO's husband still pushed a cleaning cart through the hallways. A few employees even assumed he was taking advantage of Emily's success. Daniel never responded to the comments. He simply continued doing his work with patience and professionalism. One afternoon, a newly hired security manager noticed Daniel walking through a restricted area. "Stop right there," the manager demanded. Daniel calmly explained that he had been asked to clean an executive storage room. The manager ignored him and spoke harshly, attracting the attention of nearby employees. Instead of arguing, Daniel quietly showed the written work order and apologized for the misunderstanding, even though he had done nothing wrong. Watching from a distance, Emily admired the way he handled the situation. Many people would have reacted with anger or pride. Daniel chose self-control. Later that evening, she asked him, "How do you stay so calm when people treat you unfairly?" Daniel looked out the window for a moment before answering. "I've learned that not every battle deserves to be fought. Sometimes protecting your peace is more important than proving you're right." His words stayed with Emily long after the conversation ended. She began noticing other small things that didn't quite fit Daniel's simple background. He instinctively observed emergency exits wherever they went. He remained aware of everyone entering a room without appearing suspicious. During a company safety drill, he quietly corrected a mistake in the evacuation plan that even professional consultants had overlooked. When Emily asked how he knew so much about security, Daniel simply smiled. "I've had experiences that taught me to pay attention." She accepted the answer, still unaware that the man she loved had once commanded elite special forces teams on missions where calm judgment had meant the difference between life and death. A few weeks later, Atlas Defense Technologies prepared to host an international meeting with government officials and business partners. It was the company's biggest event of the year, and every department worked under intense pressure to make everything perfect. Daniel continued his usual routine, quietly cleaning meeting rooms and checking that hallways remained clear. While carrying supplies through the conference area, he noticed something that didn't feel right. A delivery crate had been left near an emergency exit without proper documentation. Most people walked past it without a second glance. Daniel stopped. He examined the shipping label from a distance and noticed several inconsistencies. The company logo was slightly different, and the delivery time didn't match the official schedule posted by the logistics department. Instead of causing panic, he calmly informed the head of security and suggested that the package be verified before being moved inside. The security team followed his advice. After a careful inspection, they discovered the crate contained sophisticated surveillance equipment that had not been authorized for the event. Although it wasn't an explosive or a weapon, someone had clearly intended to secretly monitor confidential business discussions. The discovery shocked the company's leadership. During the emergency review, Daniel quietly pointed out several weaknesses in the building's security procedures and recommended practical improvements. His observations were so detailed that even experienced security consultants were impressed. The head of security finally asked, "How did you learn all of this?" Daniel remained silent for a moment before answering honestly. "Years ago, I served as a special forces commander. My job was protecting people and identifying threats before they became dangerous. After leaving the military, I wanted a quieter life, so I never talked about my past." The room fell completely silent. Emily stared at her husband, realizing the calm, humble man she had married had been carrying an extraordinary history without ever using it to gain respect or admiration. Later that evening, she smiled and said, "I thought I married the company's janitor." Daniel laughed softly. "You did. That's still the job I chose." Emily understood that true greatness doesn't demand attention. It reveals itself through humility, discipline, and service. From that day forward, she admired Daniel not because he had once been an elite commander, but because he never allowed his past achievements to define how he treated others in the present. Educational lesson: never underestimate people based on their appearance or occupation. Humility often hides remarkable strength, and genuine leadership is shown through character rather than status.